Would you care to share my toasted cheese sandwich?
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and slowly peel open your Trapper Keepers. I am Chris, and I am here with Professor Hootie.
What's up, boys? Excited to be here. Tell the world Norman's coming home.
Everybody loves a little Norman in their life. We are also joined by Mama's second best boy, Professor Joy, a.k.a. Dr. Nasty.
No one loves you like your mother's gonna love you, Norman.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was like spot on, right?
Stinky. So yeah, spoiler alert, we're covering one of the Psycho sequels today. But before we get into it, we got some business to take care of, fellas. Before I share some news tidbits, we're a little slow on the news this week. I only have 2 things to share with you, but we do have some internal housekeeping. We are quickly approaching our 100th episode. Believe it or not, dude, we've been at this for damn near 4 years, boys.
Wild.
So in honor of that 100th episode, we thought it'd be cool if had a little bit of fan service in play here. Send any suggestions you got, anything. We're going to call it horror adjacent. Anything you'd like us to cover, we're willing to discuss amongst the 3 of us. So reach out to us however you can. You got, let's see, we got Instagram, DMs, or you can send via email, horriblefilmschool@gmail.com. Any suggestions for the 100th episode, which will be dropping in like 8 weeks or so, something like that. So let us know what you think. We'll see if we can square it away for you guys.
What's the furthest thing from horror we would actually accept? Would we accept like a
movie?
Jurassic Park type deal?
Oh, damn, that's really close.
Oh.
Let's see if a human being is running in terror, we're gonna call that horror. It's gotta be a percentage though, right? What percent of the movie has to be scary or?
I mean, as a kid, that movie was really fucking scary.
Happy Gilmore. I mean, the guy gets his hand bitten off.
Yeah, but it's like, what, 10% of the movie?
I mean, in Winnie the Pooh, you get stuck in a fucking tree. That's kind of scary.
Whoa.
Ooh. You're talking about Blood and Honey, the horror universe they're working on now?
I can't wait till we get to that.
Say
you get to these old
horror.
childhood fucking TV shows and
dude.
classics that are all being
Like
turned
in
into
200
horror
years, they're going to be
abominations.
doing like Breaking Bad's going to have its own horror universe or whatever. I wonder what it's going to be when we're like old men.
Have either of you seen the Blood and Honey movie?
Hell no.
No.
I'm just picturing like Tigger
I never really
bounce
kept
on
up with
somebody's
Winnie the
head.
Pooh. I don't really have an attachment to
Who's got script
to the
ideas?
Pooh.
Really?
Wait. I think Tigger himself is not part of the public domain yet.
Oh.
He wasn't part of the original batch, I don't think. Piglet and all those other guys are, but there's no Tigger yet. He's coming.
All those other guys.
Like Rue and all them, I think were part of the original patent or whatever, or copyright. So I think Tigger was like 10 years later.
Can't
So
wait
it's coming.
for the sequel then.
But yeah, give us a shout out. Let us know what you think. We will happily bat that back and forth between the 3 of us and figure out what we're going to do just to celebrate a milestone that I don't think we necessarily intended to ever hit, but here we are. All right, dropping into the news. Only got 2 things to share with you boys this week. We are in what they call Dumpuary, a.k.a. January and February. So get a lot of off-brand horror movies, but not a whole lot of big budget down the line news at the moment. But I did find 2 cool things. 1990s favorite film, Blank, is getting a remake at Miramax with Robert Rodriguez producing. And Drew Hancock of Companion writing the script. What movie am I talking about here, boys?
I saw it.
The Faculty.
God almighty. Why?
Apparently the Companion writer is like legit. It's supposed to be a pretty good movie, so Rodriguez is producing, a.k.a. cashing in.
Guaranteed
Obviously,
to jack you up.
we're in 2025, so there's not going to be a high
Jesus,
school
we
kid
are.
selling some weird-ass knockoff drug.
Oh, you think it's going to be way more modern?
Has to be, right?
I don't know what a modern high school looks like. I don't think I'm that interested in it, honestly.
Just a bunch of
But
kids
we'll
looking at
see.
TikTok.
I was going to say, it's just kids on their cell phones for an hour and a half. Maybe that's the
TikTok's
alien
gonna jack
invasion
you
is
up.
all like through digital means this time.
Maybe the alien invasion's already here and it's taking over our minds with all these
Holy
apps.
shit. What if we
no.
are the aliens and we're obsessed? We're doing this to each other. Technically, we're living in other people's ears every time we get on these microphones. How do they even know that we're real human beings, the 3 of us? We're just one alien with like a crazy pitch who can change his voice.
You know, we ought to do one episode with like AI just to see how it goes.
For AI voices for us, or just
AI voices
scripts?
and AI like responses and shit.
Will Sasso had a show called Dudesy that ran for a bit that they had an AI like co-pilot. It was interesting.
Was it like played as a bit, or was it like he was just pinching pennies to get by?
It was Will Sasso and his friend Chad Kulchin, and the whole show was ran by AI, supposedly. Like AI would tell them to do things and talk about things and watch things.
Oh, that's like where the content creation came from. I got you.
Yeah.
You guys remember the Will Sasso bit on Mad TV where he's like, it was called Meat Beaters?
Oh, yeah, where it would zoom in on his
He would
face.
just be beating fucking meat.
His hands would be off screen, just beating meat.
Oh,
Will
Mad
Sasso.
TV.
That's a product of 1997. Have I ever heard it?
He's on Will and Larry or Chuck and Larry or Somebody Gets Married.
Oh, he's still
The hell
working?
is
Hey, good
that?
for him.
The Young Sheldon spinoff.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So somebody gets married.
Okay. All right, on the other little tidbit I have, this is highly relevant to today's conversation, and this has been a recurring theme for us. So this one, I got to say, is pretty badass. The Monkey popcorn buckets will be available exclusively at AMC theaters. Have you seen these?
Yeah, but who the fuck goes to AMC theaters?
They're the fucking monkey. The drum kit
I go
is
to
the fucking popcorn. It's badass, dude.
Wait a minute.
One of the coolest looking ones we've seen in a while.
The actual monkey that like smacks his hands together is the popcorn bucket?
Yeah, the monkey
drummer.
playing the drums.
Drummer.
Oh, it's a drummer. Okay. I haven't
The
watched the
drum.
trailer, so.
I think
You open the
they got
drum.
some to do cymbals, some to do the drums, but this monkey does drums.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
The trailer's
dope,
fucking
dude.
sick.
I still have not watched the trailer.
I didn't know
I
what I was
haven't.
watching until like they started talking about long legs and stuff in the trailer.
Like I said, man, if you get me hooked, no trailers for me. You got my ticket money. But yeah, that's all I got for news. Anything else you boys care to share? Anything you've been watching or want to recommend to anybody?
Finally watched The Substance after you guys talked about it, and I was able to scrounge
It
up a
took-
way to
it
watch
took
it where I
5
didn't have to
Oscar
give
nominations.
money to Amazon. It has like possibly the most exhausting final act I've ever seen in a fucking movie.
I told you, bro. This shit was brutal.
Is it worse than Men?
Oh, that is a good comp, actually.
'Cause that takes my cake.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm going to
fuck,
say Men
fuck,
was
now I gotta
worse.
watch that fucking movie.
I'm going to say
I
Men
don't-
was worse, bro. It
Men
didn't
wasn't
go as
very
long,
good.
though. It didn't go as
I
long.
don't
The
know,
Substance
but
probably was
The
twice as
Substance
long.
is literally like,
Oh.
I needed a cigarette. Like after that, I don't even fucking smoke.
Yeah, it was brutal. But,
Joe had to
good-
wipe
good
off.
movie.
Yeah, it was
The
bad.
Substance does this. I would watch The Substance again. Men,
It was so fucking good. Oh my
much
god.
as I love Alex Garland,
the
I
body
think Men
horror
was a
and
one
shit
and done for me.
it's like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's-
So, on a scale from like The Fly to Terrifier, Joy, where does The Substance lie?
That's the thing. Terrifier is not really body horror. It's like
Well, you're talking about
more
in terms
of a
of pure gore,
glorified
right?
smash. Oh, in terms of pure gore,
it's close. It's closer to Terrifier. I
it's
would say.
closer to Terrifier than it is The Fly, but it's
Oh, okay.
closer in the sense that it's not really close. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard
Terrifier
to
is
catch
literally like from beginning
It's
to
one of a
end
kind.
just gore. I mean, that's its shtick. But this movie does have a fair share. It has a fair share of gore or body horror that is much more uncomfortable to watch, as opposed to watching like a Terrifier movie. You watch a Terrifier movie and it's like, okay, he's hacking people up and shit. Yeah, this might be how it looks if it really happens, but it's so like outlandish and it's so over the top that it's hard to relate to it. Then you watch something like The Substance and you see little things here and there that make your butthole tense up.
You could feel it.
I might
More
save this
tactile.
for the show.
You still haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, and I'm not exactly excited about watching it now that both of you tell me that
And then
you've got
Randy
buttholes puckering
Quaid,
and-
or is it Dennis Quaid? It's Randy Quaid, right?
No, it's Dennis.
Dennis
Randy's
Quaid.
the,
Dennis
Wow.
Quaid is the
Yeah.
fucking shit in this movie.
Oh yeah, he's a caricature.
He's
for
so
sure.
good. He's so good as like a Hollywood sleazebag.
Yeah. If that's all we got, boys, let's move in today's assignment. 1983's Psycho 2. This was my choice. Set it up with the original Psycho that I made. I think Joey watched for the first time back when winter first started. So I figured we're coming out of the cold months. We ought to go back to the old Bates Motel. Today's lesson is a real simple one. The Bates Motel is back in business. Like
You
the
might check
taglines for this
in,
movie
but you
just write
can't check
themselves.
out. Is that
Exactly.
one? Is that one?
I feel like a million people could write taglines for this movie, you know.
Before we hop in, boys, did y'all get my assignment before we on our Discord channel?
How about bringing the Joy? Did you
I have milk.
perchance
and a
Oh
sandwich.
yeah, I saw the thing about
Hootie
the
has
milk
milk
and
and
sandwiches.
his fucking grilled cheese.
I drunk all my
It's PB&J.
fucking. I drunk all my strawberry
sandwich.
milk
What the hell?
like
It's just
earlier
a toasted
today.
milk.
I couldn't.
It's a
I couldn't
toasted
stop
cheese
myself.
sandwich. Strawberry milk.
We went to this I guess international market, Combined Foods or something like that, or Century Foods or something. It's got a bunch of
World
different
Market?
foods from different like
Was it Walmart?
ethnical backgrounds, and they had some
It was
like
the
strawberry
Walmart aisle
milk.
with the.
And I got it, and I've been sipping on that shit for days now. It's so fucking good. Oh,
Sounds good. I did not have not imbibed in milk in quite a bit, Hootie. So you enjoy that glass of milk, buddy.
I haven't had milk in a long time, bud, and I took a sip of this, and that was interesting.
Different, yeah.
the fuck is
I
wrong
like
with y'all? Why are
yogurt,
y'all
though.
not
I like
drinking
yogurt.
milk?
I haven't
I
drank
eat
milk
Greek
in
yogurt
years.
all the time,
That
man.
is strange to me.
You just drink
I
milk straight
fucking
up.
love milk. Anytime I
I
have my
don't really
protein
drink-
shake, straight up milk, baby.
I don't drink anything that has calories in it that isn't alcohol.
Who's the calorie conscious about it? That's what it is.
Yeah.
I just had never had,
Thing,
like, the
it's a good
desire
thing
to drink a
semen
glass of
doesn't
milk.
have a lot of calories.
Hey, go ahead and throw that out
Got
there.
him.
With that
Gallons
being
of that,
said-
bud.
With that being said, let's step into some fan reviews here for 1983 Psycho 2. Start with a negative Nancy. This is from May of 2023. So pretty fresh, pretty recent. Simply titled Boring by way of IMDb. One cannot help but wonder why anyone would make part 2 of a masterpiece. You can never achieve the same quality or, in this case, the same impact. Basically, it's pretty much the issue with this film. Norman Bates is freed after over 20 years, goes back to his place. Strange things happen, and Norman wonders if he's losing his marbles again. In spite of a delightfully sleazy performance by Dennis Franz, the film just meanders along with boring parts and scenes that are meant to be suspenseful but just don't work. Overall, the result is an incredibly boring film. Even if it was not Psycho 2 and a film in its own right, it just wouldn't work because the thin story is stretched out way too long. 3 out of 10 stars.
I think that's probably a common issue with the movie even existing in the first place, is that it's a follow-up to what is considered like the greatest horror movie of all time, right?
It's like the biggest, but that's literally the definition of prejudice, right? Like everyone, like me, even going into this was like, well, this can't be great because.
Oh yeah. Me watching the trailer, and like even though the trailer was actually probably one of the better trailers we've seen on the show,
Very well
in
made.
a while. Just the fact that it's a follow up to something like that. Even with my short term exposure to the movie, you can obviously tell that the attention it's garnered is well earned. So any sort of follow up's always going to come with a stigma to it. Do you think Hitchcock was dead when this came out, right?
He was Mr. Alfred.
You think he would have
Gone too
greenlit
soon.
this? You think he would have
Well, I got
been
some
in
notes
support
around it.
of having a sequel about his movie?
I got some notes around it, but there's no way he would have touched it himself, I don't think.
But do you think he would have given like the thumbs up, like, hey, go for it?
I guess it depends on how hard up he was for cash in that moment. It's definitely a bankable property at this point. All right, spinning the wheels. Here's a positive review from October 2018 by way of IMDb called One of the Best and Most Underrated Sequels. I always avoided this film and all the Psycho sequels as I thought they were all soulless cash grabs. But this film is legitimately good and respectful to the original Psycho. It makes a wonderful double feature when both are viewed back to back. The acting from the whole cast is marvelous. The directing and lighting is interesting. Anthony Perkins and Meg Tilly deliver excellent performances that really sell the movie and the plot. I highly recommend this film. Watch it by itself or right after the original for that wonderful double feature effect. 9 out of 10 star. I thought this kind of makes the most sense. It's well made, right? You can't deny that.
Very well. I was shocked at how well made this film was.
Right. Compared to most horror sequels, especially ones that take 20 years off in between.
My memory of the sequel to Psychos is walking through our video store in our town and seeing the VHS covers of Norman Bates holding the key. I think it's on this one.
That's 3 maybe?
And the third one. And it just never appealed to me. It's like one of those like dumb child things of like you judge a book based on the VHS sleeve.
I'm going to tell you what it's like, right? It's like the cover of the fucking Amityville horror movie.
Yep.
As a kid, I didn't give a fuck about
Just the house,
Amityville horror just because the box art looks dumb.
That corny
It's a fucking
cheese.
house. You know what I mean?
That 80s cheese, man.
This is an old white guy holding a set of keys. Like I don't care. Give me that demons with a demon sucking on a skull lollipop.
Yeah, give me
Yeah, it's still for kids.
what's that motherfucker who's popping out of the toilet? The Ghoulies.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the fucking Ghoulies as a kid, man.
Something like the VHS era and box art, there was just nothing like it. Like once you got the DVD, I feel like everything was just so cool that like everyone knew how to handle posters at that point. But back in the day when you got all these hand-drawn posters, you got a lot of weird shit.
You guys remember fucking Demonic Toys? Remember that box art?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
With the
like
clown and shit
Master
coming out
and
of the Jack in the Box, dude.
Yeah.
That's the type of shit I wanted to see as a kid because it just looked so interesting and so like up my alley.
That one and Uncle Sam and Jack Frost had the changing faces on the VHS box.
The little holographic card-looking things.
Simpler time.
Easy days, easy days. All right, let's move to the crew, people who made this here flick. We'll start with the man in the chair, the director. This movie was directed by Richard Franklin, who I have noted here is Australian. And that is about it. Anything else of note about Richard Franklin? I tried.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Damn right.
I had a couple things.
No, please. If you have anything constructive or anything actually to add to the conversation, have at it.
I was convinced there was going to be more to this guy, but I could not find it.
I went down some weird rabbit holes that y'all are going to find out throughout this film about a bunch of people. So, first up, Richard Franklin. He did he's from Australia, horror film called Road Games that was headlined by Jamie Lee Curtis that I watched the trailer for and would love to cover on this show.
Road Game. What year is this? Is this like pre-Psycho 2?
Yeah, it's late 70s. Road Games.
This is right after Halloween.
Oh, is this like Wolf Creek?
It's very much like Wolf Creek. It's like Wolf Creek, Mad Max, like Wasteland. There's a trucker killing people.
Jeez.
From what I gathered in the trailer.
Throwing a little joyride while you're at it. I like that.
Oh, candy cane.
Candy cane.
Leave us alone, dude. She's not going to fuck you. It was a man. It's a dude. It was me doing the voice, dude. Please.
I brought a bottle of pink champagne.
Yeah, please don't kill my friend. Please.
It ingrained in our skulls.
Sticks in your craw, dude. I think it was probably legitimately good, but I have not seen a minute of it since I was like 12.
Also, he directed a film that has multiple sequels that I've never even heard of called Patrick. And Patrick's tagline is wild. And here we go. Some people thought he was crazy. He appeared to be deaf, dumb, and blind. None of them knew of the sixth sense, the power of Patrick's mind.
What in the hell? Is this a horror
like some
movie?
Mac and Me shit? Like what the fuck's going on?
It's a horror movie where a dude's in a coma, but he's also like controlling things with his mind.
Damn, so he's like demonic?
So it's a horror version of Powder.
Apparently, from the trailer, yes. That's all I can say.
I thought Powder could walk around. He was just really white. And he was like normal.
I think that was the first Powder.
Didn't he have electricity powers or some shit?
I think he was just really white. Like that's the whole plot.
He was really white and he did Palpatine shit, and that was it.
And his mentor was Hitchcock. Power. So.
Yeah, I do know. Like that's kind of how he got this gig. He was the heir apparent. But when I read that, like going into it, I was like, okay, this is like they said this is the Hitchcock guy. This is all he had though. No other really career outside of this. I was kind of amazed by that. Yeah, at least as far as American films are concerned. All right, moving on. This was written by Mr. Tom Holland, who we have covered pretty extensively. If you recall, this is the guy who did the movie Fright Night. Also, the man we often refer to as Chucky Daddy.
Who's the other Chucky Daddy? That's on all the rest of them.
I'm talking about Don Mancini.
Mancini,
producer, right?
Mancini's the money guy. Tom Holland's the actual creator.
Money guy.
Yeah, but yeah, surprised at how interesting the script actually turned out to be. Not to put my opinion in front of the review here, but it's in my mind, I didn't know where you really would go with the story going forward. So,
see that Robert Bloch wrote a Psycho 2 book.
I did see that. Apparently, that was the impetus for even making this movie. Because I guess, yeah, his Psycho 2 book is satirizing Hollywood slashers. So he pretty much wrote a book that was like, "Fuck Hollywood, these movies all suck." And in response to that, they wanted to make this movie.
I have a little breakdown of it if you want it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The plot of Robert Bloch's Psycho 2 is very different from the feature film. It has Norman Bates escaping from the mental institution and traveling to Hollywood, California to stop the production of a film based on his life. Universal Studios reportedly upset by Bloch's take on the horror film industry and led to the development of the 1983 sequel.
Yeah, see, I think that's just not like that's like such a generic idea. I think Norman breaking out of prison, like that's just not as cool to me.
Because it makes him like just a bloodthirsty like warmonger.
Yeah, you're turning him into Jason Voorhees again.
That's the thing. That's not
I've
the
done
character
this.
at all.
You have to question like the sanity here. That's the whole point, I think, of the character, at least for me. I got two more dudes. Well, they turned out to be dudes behind the camera. Wanted to shout out the cinematography was done by Mr. Dean Cundy. You guys familiar with Dean Cundy?
Yeah, Dean Cundy worked on Halloween, right?
Oh, yeah, he's done a lot of shit. He did Halloween. He did The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jurassic Park, and Apollo 13.
Yeah, he's a John Carpenter stan.
That's a hell of a resume for a cinematographer right there.
I didn't know Dean, but I knew Dean.
Exactly. You've seen his...
You knew his work.
You've seen through his eye for a very long time.
Look upon my works and ye despair.
Yeah, see, I don't necessarily click through a lot of the crew members unless something stands out. I just thought the camera work here was interesting, so I was like, well, who is this guy? Little did I know, he's kind of like one of the guys. And finally, music here was by Mr. Jerry Goldsmith. Again, somebody I wasn't entirely familiar with, but quite a good dude. Nominated for 18 Academy Awards. He won in 1977 for The Omen. He composed scores for 5 films in the Star Trek franchise, 3 in the Rambo franchise. Also, Planet of the Apes, Patton, Papillon, Chinatown, Alien, Poltergeist, Gremlins, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, LA Confidential, Mulan, and The Mummy. He also composed the current fanfare for the Universal Pictures logo, which debuted in The Lost World Jurassic Park. Dun, 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 yeah, he created that, so that's cap off to that guy.
I said he's getting some mailbox money from that.
Yeah, we all know it, right?
Have either of you seen The Omen?
I have not actually have it on my backlog for this very show.
Okay.
It has been number 2 on my backlog for like 6 months. Something always keeps jumping ahead of it.
It's a boss.
But I heard the prequel they did this past year was like great.
Oh.
And I didn't want to watch it until I watched the original, which I didn't want to watch until we covered it on the show. So
I like love.
It's coming, baby. That's all the crew notes I got. Anybody else you want to shout out before we talk about the production itself?
Oh, it feels like you hit all the key points. Great music, fantastic cinematography. I guess dialogue and a script that are like head and shoulders above a lot of other horror sequels.
A lot of heavy hitters behind the camera. More than I expected, honestly.
I don't know their name, but the set designer also did a phenomenal job with the inside of this house.
True that. I got some notes on that we could touch on here in a bit. You ready to talk about the production? Start off with what Joey had a question about there. Producers, fearing that Hitchcock might not have approved of sequels to his films, contacted Hitchcock's daughter Patricia and sent her the script for the film. She gave her blessing, saying that her father would have loved it.
She trying to get a check anyway. What the fuck she care?
Take it for what it's worth. Patricia says, Daddy would love that.
Here comes the money.
You see her in the first Psycho. She's the other secretary at the office.
Oh, that dude's trying to bang her, talking about all the money he's got.
Yeah, well, she's the other lady in that scene there. Jamie Lee Curtis, the real-life daughter of Janet Leigh, who played Marion Crane in the original film, was sought to portray Lila's daughter Mary before Meg Tilly was cast. I feel like that would have been way too much of a home run at that point, man. It's like dream casting at that point.
It might have been too on the nose, though. It might have messed with the film itself.
Because this is coming off of Halloween and The Fog at that point, so she's prominent.
Yeah, I think she was actually like making a transition outside of horror at this point too. So I think she was in Trading Places.
Yes,
I think that's
with Aykroyd and what's his name? Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Another casting tidbit here. Before landing Perkins, the studio explored recasting Norman, and Christopher Walken was among those considered.
Mother, what do you want me to do, Mother? That's my Christopher Walken. Not very good, but hey.
Walken, he's tough, man.
He's
he's a hard one to nail down.
I could see him being like just a strange, weak man.
Mother, why do you want me to kill her?
It's hard to imagine him that young. The Deer Hunter, I think, is the only time I've seen him in what I would call young Christopher Walken form.
Isn't he in one of the Omen movies?
He may be in the original, I'm not sure. If I've ever seen one of those, I have zero recollection of them. The Bates house set was still standing from 1960, but the motel had to be reconstructed.
He was in the
I thought
prophecy.
that was pretty
I
interesting.
just Googled it. Sorry.
Oh, there's
It was in
multiple
the
prophecies.
prophecy. Oh,
That's
yeah,
all-
I
that's
do
all
remember
Frank.
that. Yeah, I could see that his face on that poster now.
In an interview, Meg Tilly talked about how the house set on the Universal backlot, and they would do like what we did with Paramount. They would do studio tours while they were
Yeah.
filming.
Oh, shit. So it was like an active tourist location during filming?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't think
That
it.
would be cool.
I would have to imagine it was in a far away enough where it wouldn't be caught on the camera or something.
Yeah, we saw this in Maxine from last year. The fact that the house still stands there to this day, which is super cool, man.
And it is just a house. There is no guts.
No guts. Last thing I have here. Universal initially intended to release the film directly to cable, but decided upon a full theatrical release after they secured the return of actor Anthony Perkins. It's hard to imagine this being like a straight-to-cable movie, but interestingly enough, remember we talked about Psycho? Hitchcock essentially made that as a TV movie as well, and it became a film because of all the shock value. But he made that with his TV crew. Kind of interesting how closely threaded this movie is with the TV, or this series is with the television programming.
Well, I think they kind of expected a lot of pushback from audiences. Maybe they assumed that it wouldn't be as in high demand or as lucrative as it turned out to be. Maybe that would be the reason they would want to keep it on TV.
Especially if you don't get Perkins back.
Yeah.
It's hard to hype people up to come to a theater to see Christopher Walken as Norman Bates.
I mean, you
in a
think about it, the
sequel.
people that were in their 20s, 30s when Psycho came out. This is 23 years later.
23 years, yeah, they're in their 50s at that point.
Like, what audience are you trying to appeal to 23 years later in a sequel?
We talked about Lego sequels before. Like, this is the first of its kind that I know of where they wait this long to make a sequel and bring back actors from the original series or the original film. A lot of first-time things going on here.
I was thinking that obviously it's 22, 23 years after the first one, that a lot of people may not have remembered the first film that well because this was before VHS or maybe at the birth of it. So
Yeah,
it's not like now where you go to YouTube and you can watch that scene 5 million times.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to, like, not be... I'm wondering, too, at this point, 1983, like, how many people were exposed to Psycho through, like, word of mouth. Just like socially, you get spoiled to things like Star Wars or some shit, you know, like Luke, I am your father. How many times did we hear that before we ever watched that movie as a kid? I wonder if, like, back then it was like, the shower scene, if it was just like a water cooler thing that you heard about before you ever even saw the movies. I'll never know. I was not quite conceived in 1983. You guys got anything else behind the scenes other than the box office? I got that listed here. We could touch on it at the end.
The movie was shot in a little bit over a month. I think it's like quoted as 32 days. I thought that's pretty impressive. A couple more notes I got here. It's been stated by Quentin Tarantino as being one of his favorite films, actually preferring it to the original.
Really? I saw when I Googled it for the first time, when I started research, like the first thing that pops
His face
up
pops up.
is Tarantino's face. It was like a YouTube video.
That big Frankenstein
Tarantino
looking
on
motherfucker
Richard
pops up.
Franklin's Psycho 2. I'm like,
I
he
watched
must have
that
prompted
YouTube
up.
video. And
You put his name on anything, it gets hits.
he
Does
loves
he just
this
shit
movie.
all over? Does he shit all over the original, or just he likes this movie that much?
He loves this movie. He doesn't shit on the first one. He does say very quick, that Hitchcock is not his favorite director, and he moves right along.
Mm.
Yeah. Other than that,
Yeah.
probably the most interesting note for me: several of the exterior shots of the Bates Motel are actually like a matte painting by an artist named Albert Whitlock.
Really? Damn, I'm trying to
That's
think of a
pretty neat.
standout shot when that was in use.
Like I couldn't really tell.
Me either.
I hope it's better than that dry as paintbrush that Norman was using.
He
Damn, dude, he's a,
had the veins crawling up his arms. Norman looks great in this movie, dude.
oh, he's ripped. Like
He
to
looks
be,
like great.
what would he be?
It's
He
like
probably in
anorexic
his, what,
ripped.
50s in this movie.
Yeah, he's like anorexic ripped. He's probably like, people look different back then, man. He's probably like 42.
Think so?
That's true, yeah.
Like looking at me now, you imagine John Wayne at my age, he probably looked like he was 65.
You say that? This man died less than 10 years after this film.
And really,
He died in 92,
was it due to the complication of AIDS, right? Is that
Yeah.
his official cause? Yeah.
sadly. I think he was 60.
Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, but he was so young in Psycho. He looked like a 19-year-old in Psycho almost. He looked like a kid. So that put him in his 40s, I would guess here, mid 40s, maybe late 40s.
Jacked up and tan.
But yeah, talking about the matte painting thing. I know the shot of him standing in front of the Bates house. It's like very picturesque now that I think back on it, but I'd be damned if it didn't look like it was real to me.
Well, no, the Bates
I'd be
house was
damned.
real. It was the motel.
Oh, the motel.
Yeah.
Damn. That seems like it was even more in the foreground.
Not
a
all
full
the
man
shots,
shot.
but like the shots where you're seeing the full like hotel or motel
Yeah.
Holiday Inn. There's several of them that are the actual like painting instead.
That makes sense because why would you reconstruct the entire hotel?
Right, yeah, you just get what you need. Everything else out of frame is a waste of money, right? Speaking of money, I thought the budget here was $5 million. Box office was $34.7 million. Definitively a success for Universal here.
I had a couple of tidbits here before we move along. I had something with a time code. Is that allowed to be said now?
Time code. So you tell me something happens at a very specific point that has some kind of relevance here?
But I don't really remember exactly what time it is in the movie. Like, I know what
You got
time
me
it is.
excited now. You got to tell me now. I can't wait now.
Okay, good. I got you. Fever pitch. At time code, 25 minutes and 10 seconds, whenever that is, in whatever part of the movie. When Mary and Norman Bates first go into Norman's mother's room, before they turn the lights on, you can see Sir Alfred Hitchcock's silhouette on the wall to the far right.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Does that match up with something in the original?
I don't know. I didn't know
I
that.
wonder if
until
that
I did my-
time stamp matches with the original at some point. That's pretty cool.
Also, Meg Tilly did not attend the premiere of Psycho 2. Apparently, she had a really hard time working with Perkins because Perkins, in her words, was a method actor. But other reports say that Perkins overheard Meg Tilly talking about why. She was like, why is this dude such a big deal? Because she didn't see Psycho 1 until like right before this film.
Okay. So how did he make a career off of one movie is what she's wondering.
Exactly. I guess he got pissed off.
I guess in her defense, how old is she here making this movie? 20 maybe. She's like a kid.
She was born in 60.
So yeah, 22, 23, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't do a ton of, this is just from the perspective of somebody in 2025. Outside of Psycho, there's not a ton of recognizable work, at least as far as my cinephile brain is concerned.
I was about to still, yeah, it's nothing there for me either. And lastly, the Universal Studios backlot is used to represent the town of Fairvale. It was later used to represent Kingston Falls in Gremlins, 1984, and Hill Valley in Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2.
Well, all right,
That's all we
boys,
got.
without further ado, if that's all we're going to talk about, let's get into the mind of a psycho. Let's go back to that beautiful Bates Motel.
Why did you do that?
Do what?
Lie to the sheriff. You weren't with me this afternoon.
I had to do something. He was going to arrest you. Norman?
It's starting again.
After 22 years in a mental institution, Norman Bates is released after being declared sane by Dr. Bill Raymond. Marion Crane's sister Lila Loomis protests his release, presenting a petition with 743 signatures, but she fails to prevent it. Norman returns to his family home and motel where he finds the sleazy Warren Toomey has turned the motel into a drug den. Dr. Raymond has arranged a job for Norman as a cook at a local diner.
Toomey
Let's
done
talk about
turned
the
the Bates
cast.
Motel into a suck and fuck in, huh?
Toomey is a dirty sumbitch. This is there's one character in every movie that kind of reminds me of Joey in some way, shape, or form. Toomey took the cake here. A small businessman with a heart of
syphilis.
He's just trying to make some money, man. The hotel's so far away from the highway.
That's what people want, man. They're here for the drugs and the
This dude is like such a good like slime ball, huh?
He is, and this as soon as I saw the guy, I'm like, this guy's only ever going to be known for one thing in my mind, right? He's a fucking cop. I think it was so hard to see him as this like nasty dude. Well, I guess we should start at the top here. Norman Bates is played by Mr. Anthony Perkins, who we have, I think, milked the entire man's biography in our Psycho episode. Anything new to contribute to Mr. Perkins here, guys?
I think I found something new. One of the rabbit holes I was telling you boys about. So, in 1957, Mr. Norman, good God, Anthony
He is
Perkins.
Norman Bates. It's fair. It's fair. It's fine to call him Norman Bates.
Anthony Perkins, who went by Tony Perkins, had a top 30 Billboard hit titled Moonlight Swim.
Hell yeah. What genre was that?
Had an
Was it
accompanying.
rap?
It was, yeah, in 57. It was on the album The Prettiest Girl in School, and yes, this album is on
Hell yeah.
Spotify in its entirety.
Well, he probably played
That's
He
fucking
probably
awesome.
played piano on that, right?
Well, it is a Buddy Holly ripoff, Roy Orbison type sound. You know that sound of the 50s, like the rockabilly. Everybody's doing it.
Oh,
And I listened to a couple songs. It's not bad. I mean, it's just Buddy Holly, basically. But
can you hear his voice? Can you hear Norman in there?
Oh yeah. It's weird. Because once you know him as Norman Bates, it's like Norman Bates saying, "Let's."
It sounds
go
like
for a-
Norman's.
So let's
The
go
thing
for a
is,
right swim.
he was a lifelong musician. He actually like the piano scenes in this movie were put in because he plays piano.
Really? Because they don't even show his hands. That kind of annoys me.
Oh yeah,
in
it's
the
him.
movie.
He's fucking going in.
In the title song of the album, "The Prettiest Girl in School," he has the just rhyming skills to do back to your rap question to rhyme sloppy with jalopy and make it work.
Oh yeah, sloppy jalopy. That sounds
He
like
said-
it's him. That T-shirt waiting to happen.
He said, "I don't want to show up sloppy in my dad's jalopy."
Yes, fucking Kendrick Lamar, eat your heart out, brother. Squabble up, dog. I like it. I love it. That's the most fun thing I've heard about Anthony Perkins today. Thank you, sir. We also have Lila Crane / Loomis, played by Miss Vera Miles, who you may remember from the original Psycho from 1960. This is a recurring character this go round. We touched on her before. She was in The Searchers from 1956, considered the greatest Western of many folks, including, I believe, Mr. Steven Spielberg. Also in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance from 1962. And as we highlighted before, I'm reminding you today, she's still alive, so she's still kicking. I do love to see an old girl still kicking. Shout out, Miss Vera Miles.
So we could possibly see her at a horror convention doing a Psycho 2 panel.
You damn right. Let's see, who else do we meet in this section here? Oh yeah, Dr. Bill Raymond was played by Robert Loggia, who's one of those guy faces you may recognize from Scarface from 1983, also in Independence Day, 1996. And my boy David Lynch, his 1997 film Lost Highway.
Welcome to Earth. Y'all remember when
You
Will
skipped over
Smith
the
says
one
that?
Oh, there's something better?
Big, buddy. I love Big.
Big. Oh yeah, Big's fine. It just
This
depends
is
on how big
horrible.
you are into Tom Hanks, man.
Yeah, it's
That dude's been in a lot of shit, like over 200 acting credits.
He's got one of those faces. He's still alive?
No, I think
Hopefully
he
he's
passed
retired
in
if he is.
2015.
Well, shucks. I just remember him in Scarface in that damn suit, man.
it's interesting because he's so likable in this film.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to like turn at some point, you know? I feel like him and the cop, well, not the cop, Toomey, like you would expect the opposite out of them, you know? Like if those roles were flipped, that would have been my guess if you give me like the stats, like the cast list and then like mugshots.
I will say to Toomey's defense, when Norman throws down that handful of drugs, he knew exactly what it was, like a cop would.
Yeah, he's prepping. Speaking of the devil, Warren Toomey is played by Dennis Franz, who you may know as the NYPD detective Andy Spiekowitz in the ABC television series NYPD Blue from 1993 to 2005.
You know
That's all
how
I can
many
see when I look at this
episodes-
dude. I've never seen a single episode of that, but I
Do you know
know
how
this
many
guy
he was
that.
in?
A fucking 1,000, if I had to guess.
Well, I
What,
quite
episodes of NYPD?
It's one of those shows. It was like 30 episode seasons or something.
He was in 261 episodes.
Jesus.
That's a lot of work, man.
That's a soap opera.
I think
That's
at
over
that
200
point
hours.
he had been a police officer in so many episodes. He probably had like enough time to be an actual cop. I think he could be like ordained like a minister, like as a
he
law
actually-
enforcement officer.
He got a pension now. How the hell did he get pension?
I need like a sequel to Psycho where it's like a cop needs help and they call Toomey.
Get Toomey's ass back up in here. How did you guys feel about during the petition to get Norman to keep him from being released? Her being referred to as a homicidal maniac.
That was weird, man.
I know Joey pointed it out when we watched the trailer, but watching the movie, I was like, she definitely said homicidal. There was no homicidal there.
Oh yeah,
Is that-
she gave him a nice little fucking jab.
I was like, yeah, okay, you really gonna drag the man's sexuality into this right now?
Is that a dialect thing, though? Is that how they said it back in the day?
I don't know, dude. I think it was a dig at like him dressing up like a woman, honestly.
I will say, in this film, it would have been 22 years, but for us, it's been a couple months. When I first see Norman, my mind goes to, oh, that's the cross-dressing serial killer. But throughout this film, I kind of felt bad for the guy.
I think that's one of his greatest capabilities as an actor and as this character is to make you be repulsed at the same time sympathetic.
Yeah, I think that's the hallmark of Norman Bates. You compare him to any of the other, like,
At the end of the day, he's just a
guys
troubled
we follow in
mind,
these
you know?
movies. Yeah, and you kind of root for the fucking guy.
It's weird.
Not even in a sadistic way. I just want him to be better. I want him to have a happy life.
How did y'all feel about this whole thing of him being released after he murdered 7 people? Even though he served his time in the psychiatric ward or the mental hospital, whatever. But like just the idea that he could be released after that, back to the exact situation in which it triggered all these other fucking, like, what did they say, 7 murders?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like, it was thin. That's thin, right?
I think in my mind, like using the context of 1960 as his original sentencing, right? Like if someone think about people who were arrested for crimes in the 90s now, for like drug crimes in the 90s. And then when we get to like 2020, people are like, why are people in jail for this again? Like clearly, after 20 years, I think the societal norms change enough that people reassess people who've been in prison for 20 years for things that are, like we clearly know how his psychology is affecting his behaviors now, you know. Society would have changed enough where somebody would have been like, we should probably set that guy free.
Yeah, but
honestly.
that could be true for a lot of things, like drugs, like, you know, how they used to like throw you in jail for 20 years for marijuana.
Yeah, if you can't weed on
there's still
you.
murder.
Like, that's stupid.
Like,
now.
I don't think the perception of fucking murder has changed.
Yeah, but how many bodies did they pin on him though?
7.
No. How many did they actually like know? Like he.
They said
committed?
it's 7 murders. Like during the petition for
There's
his.
no way they
release.
had evidence on 7 though.
That's what it
It
said.
had to been all incidental. They found Mary, and that might have been it. I don't know. I'm thinking back on it now. Or Arbogast. Maybe they found Arbogast.
I think this is the best way for him to be let out of prison. Like, it shouldn't be a prison break. It shouldn't be any kind of
jailbreak
weird
would have
fuckery.
I think this is the only way to get this story to an interesting place in my mind, and it's still kind of making a little bit of sense.
Because you can
I kinda commend
believe
it.
that Dr. Raymond has worked with him for all these 20 some odd years, and that he sees the growth in Norman, and like he doesn't want Norman to go back to his old ways. But at the same time, you're thinking, is it just a monster cloaked in a good guy's mask?
I mean, we meet Norman, we get to know him again. We see he's still pretty charming, if not more charming than he ever was.
Well, now he's jacked up and tan.
Exactly. I'm thinking about like Michael Myers. We see him as a little. We don't see him as a little boy. We see him commit a crime as a little boy. Doesn't speak for 20 years, right? And then shit breaks off. Norman's presenting his case at all times. It seems he puts the sheep's clothing on like it's nothing. He's a charmer.
What did you two think about him flipping burgers down at the local diner?
Oh, poor guy.
You know how
Poor
stressful
guy.
of a fucking job that's got to be.
He
You've
was
been locked
so
up for 20
positive about it,
years,
though, man.
surrounded by a bunch of crazy people. Then you get out of there and you just literally sit there responsible for cooking hamburgers and chopping lettuce, reading
Chopping
out
lettuce.
orders, washing dishes. Fucking leave me
people
in
are
the
like-
institute. I'll
He was
fucking
in
stay
this type
there.
of kitchen where it's like open to the public. Like people would just walk up and mess with him. Like he didn't even have like the luxury of being in a kitchen with like closed doors.
There's something, I don't know if you two have the same idea. There's something that pops up in this movie, and it kind of ticked me off. Because this town is presented as being very small. And this
Yeah.
is a man, to your point, who 20 years ago killed 7 people. And he's just like let back in the diner. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody really, is worried. It's interesting.
California, man, is tricky. And I mean, they did talk about the fact that how far off the road the Bates Motel is at this point, Like, town has shifted away from where he used to be. So, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of people moving in and out at this point. It doesn't seem like a mom and pop type town, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. It's a transplant.
Seems like a lot of tumbleweeds, yeah, like just blowing through this area
I got you.
on their way to bigger and better things or whatever. At the diner, Norman meets the elderly Emma Spool, cranky waitress Myrna, and young waitress Mary Samuels. When Mary needs a place to stay after an argument with her boyfriend, Norman offers her lodging. Upon discovering the motel's condition, Norman fires Toomey. Mary decides to stay at the house with Norman, though she's initially unsettled by his nervous behavior around knives. So here we met Mary Loomis, played by Miss Meg Tilly, who... What's the most prominent note you boys have about Meg Tilly?
Jennifer Tilly's sister.
Smacked me in the face after the movie when I realized that was her sister. I was like,
that's the thing, you say that,
alike.
but kind of you can see it. You can see the resemblance.
The ex-wife of Colin Firth.
The ex-wife, oh yeah, that too. The ex-wife of Colin Firth. I didn't have a note about that.
Is that the King's Speech guy?
It is the King's Speech guy.
Oh, Bridget Jones' Diary guy.
She's 2 years younger than Jennifer Tilly.
She's younger?
That's the thing. Jennifer Tilly don't age, though.
Exactly. Tricky, right? Have you seen a modern picture of Meg Tilly? She's still...
Have I seen a...
Nice looking
boy,
lady.
This is the third rabbit hole I fell down.
Whoa, man. Don't tell me you got an OnlyFans account over the weekend.
No, Meg Tilly does not seem like that kind of person.
She's a good gal.
Meg Tilly has published several books. I don't know the exact number, but lots of them. Because I know this. She has a YouTube channel called Tea Time.
Tea Time with Meg Tilly.
Tea Time with Meg Tilly. She sits in like a cozy chair. She drinks teas just like the garage guy. She like reviews the tea that she's drinking. Gives it how many ever tea bags. I don't know.
She tea bags the audience.
And it's just like, she comes off, she's all gray-headed. She comes off as like a sweet, caring, charming old woman. And she has about,
woman, though, right?
She has about, well, I don't know. Okay, maybe not an old person. She has 5,000 subscribers and did a watch-along to Psycho 2 on her YouTube channel.
Holy shit. Are you watching her watch it?
Or
is she actually broadcasting the movie?
So her current husband is on the side of the camera, and he's like feeding her questions from the audience. And she has cans on and is watching the movie.
Okay.
But because she has cans on, she is screaming the answers to these questions. And it's just like a sweet woman just trying to just please her fans.
Love you guys. I watched this movie for you. She also, for her role in 1985 film, Agnes of God, she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. So she got chops.
Because I watched bits and pieces of her watch along just to like see what it was about. She talked about how
this lady.
I'm telling you, man, I fell down a rabbit hole. She talked about how the Psycho house, like I said, is just a house. There is no guts. And when you walk into the house, it's just like 2x4s holding the structure together. And that all the shots from inside the house that you see in this film are all just in a studio somewhere.
Something they built somewhere. Yeah, I think we see in Maxine, she goes in the house. We can see it's just like scaffolding everywhere, which I assume is the actual interior of that building. It was so weird for me watching this to see, because I've seen Psycho so many times, to see everything in color. It was almost surreal. I was like Dorothy coming into Oz or something in The Wizard of Oz, you know. Did you guys feel any weirder seeing this in color versus black and white? Or you didn't have as much exposure to the black and white as I have, so did it feel like dreamlike to you?
Like, it definitely gave the movie a different vibe. It gave it a different atmosphere. Like, it definitely made it feel more modernized. But it also felt like the house was alive, you know? Like,
that's a good take, yeah.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it being shown in color.
There is a black and white version available on YouTube, by the way.
But the whole thing is they wanted to kind of set this movie apart as its own thing. And not just be a continuation of the story, even though it is a continuation of the story, but it's a movie in its own right that kind of, in my opinion, could stand on its own.
Chris, you glossed over the cutlery line there.
The cutlery!
I like to say, my only note about the cutlery in these here scenes is cut your own damn sandwich, bitch.
That is such a weird scene, yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna look at me. My son ain't got the nerve to tell me to cut his damn sandwich. I've been with that kid every minute since he's been born, you know? I ain't cutting your damn sandwich. I don't know you.
She said, you ain't got a knife. He said, oh, cutlery?
Cutlery? Yeah, you get some of like the super beta OG Norman in these scenes. Like, to be such an older man, he definitely still has that little boy inside of him. And it's very charming to see him turn it on.
How he talks about, would you like some milk and sandwiches?
Oh, he's got some milk and sandwiches. Toasted cheese sandwiches.
Such
He
an
keeps saying
odd-
toasted cheese, and I'm like, it's grilled cheese, right? Is he talking about grilled
toasted
cheese, right?
cheese sounds so much more
What
elegant.
the fuck is toasted cheese?
Maybe you toasted cheese and not the bread.
Wait, you put the bread in the toaster, and then you just smash the
First
cheese
of all,
in
it
there
ain't a
and hold
toasted
it till it
nugget. He
melts.
gives her a dry ass fucking bologna sandwich.
Nothing
with no
looks toasted
cheese.
to me.
Like
I
it's
agree.
not toasted at all.
That's Wonder Bread. It's just white as hell.
I think he took 2 pieces of bread and just put mayo in between them and called it a day.
That's about as white as it gets, girl.
So in the beginning of the film, when him and Dr. Raymond are walking to the house for the first time, he's got that bag of groceries. It's just
The
full of
bag of
bread and
groceries.
milk.
His jacked ass arms, his bread and milk. Yeah, and he's got some cereal in there too.
What would
It's
you
better for a snooze
guys?
store.
What would be the first thing you would get after 20 years in the clink?
I was thinking the same damn thing. He had like a bag of Lay's too, I think. With
He
like
had a
really
bag
old-ass
of like
logo.
Lipton tea bags and like some Ziplocs. I don't know what the fuck he was making with the shit. But me personally, man, I gotta get a burger.
Yeah, I need some grease. I don't know. What does he eat in a psych ward though?
Definitely not burgers. Probably like pudding
You don't
and
think
shit.
it's any burgers?
Jell-O,
No, he wouldn't.
pudding.
They wouldn't let him use a spoon. That sure
Soup.
carves somebody's fucking heart out.
No. They probably
Stew.
nothing with a bone in it, right? Like a
Hell
T-bone.
no, you couldn't use anything with a bone. It's probably him. It's probably
Some
some
fried
like
chicken.
some tube of fucking gel or some shit.
Refried beans.
Give me a tub of refried beans.
Protein in there.
No spoon or nothing. Like you just gotta fucking drink
That's
it.
low calorie
Glug, glug.
protein.
I think I would specifically get the Hops North Carolinian burger if I get out of a psycho pit.
And then you get a whole box of Nutty Buddies for the drive home.
OG
Floorboard
Nutty Buddies
full of wrappers.
and those cream pie Nutty Buddies.
I would just get like a really cheap, shitty burger, but then I'd have to go to Maxi B's and get a slice of that cake.
Oh, I love that cake. I was at the store. I picked up one of those little pints of, I don't know if you've seen this, Little Debbie ice cream.
I have. I've had the Nutty Buddy.
I've heard the legends.
Is it any good?
I've heard the stories told.
It's not good.
It's in
man.
my, damn it, it's in my freezer unopened right now. You're telling me it's
I'm-
not worth my money?
What kind
I'm
is it?
sorry.
Nutty Bars.
No.
It's the one
In
you wanna
ice
try,
cream-
right?
In ice cream format?
What's wrong with it?
It's
Is it
just,
just
I mean,
chocolate?
it's got little bits of Nutty Buddy in it, which is appreciated. But I
But
mean,
you
a
don't
Nutty,
have the crunch.
it's got a little bit of the crunch. It just tastes like, I don't know. Think of like a lower version of like Edie's ice cream.
It's like a shitty version of Edie's ice cream.
Yeah. Which
So
is
I
saying
gotta
a
need my
lot.
$3 back. Is what you're saying?
Basically, I'm sorry. I wanted to have the same excitement as you have right now. But
Damn it! I literally had it like when I bought this 12 hours ago, and now it's gone. Also, got a shout out here. When Norman first gets back into the motel, we see his reflection in the doorknob that goes to Mother's room, and we see a much younger version of Norman Bates, and that young Norman Bates is played by the impetus for this movie choice I made today, Mr. Osgood Perkins, the actual son of Norman Bates, of Anthony Perkins. Yeah, Osgood, the director, former actor, directed 2015 The Black Coat's Daughter, 2024's Long Legs, and 2025's soon-to-be released The Monkey. I think it comes out a week from tomorrow, boys.
he is an odd looking fella.
He is. I mean, his dad's definitely a unique bird, if you will.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, this dude, I think him and Ari Aster are kind of the it boys for us horror aficionados these days. I'm hyped.
I didn't know if you wanted to speak about Claudia Breyer.
Which one? Who's Claudia Beer?
Oh, you haven't touched her yet. Sorry. It was Mrs. Spool.
Oh, I did mention the character, but
In
her
passing.
Wikipedia, everything I googled.
Why
was,
would you mention her?
pretty
She's
sparse.
such a minor character at this point. Why would you talk about Miss
She
Spool?
was so nice to Mr. Norman Bates.
Yeah, she thinks everybody deserves a second chance. It's the Christian way.
She was in 2 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show. And if you're from where we're from, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, that's legendary. She might as well have been in the Bible then, if that's what you want to say around here.
Might as well be a saint.
Oh yeah.
And this was her final theatrical feature film.
She said, "Fuck it, I've had enough."
This was it.
She said, "I got a headache. I'm done." I miss Mayberry.
She was on
Who
it.
knows
She,
it?
she's in drinking that ice cold cherry Coke.
Oh God. He did.
She's in a lot of TV. I mean, everything from Bonanza to she probably NYPD Blue for all I know.
Oh yeah, my granny probably knows this lady on a first name basis. Norman begins receiving notes and phone calls apparently from his mother, and he sees a figure in her window. At the diner, After Toomey provokes Norman with crude remarks about Mary, Norman finds another note warning him about letting that whore in his house. Traumatized, he quits his job. Later, someone murders Toomey in the motel office while dressed as Mother.
How fucking sick was that slash to the face?
It was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that level of gore, honestly. A quick little... Dude got nudie posters all over the place, just laying out for children to walk up and see.
Did you touch on the fact that he showed up to the restaurant drunk?
Yeah, he was there harassing her and supposedly leaving Norman notes while he's trying to slice up that
Did you
lettuce.
guys have a favorite note?
I like just seeing someone write that whore down.
I like the little whore was pretty good. My favorite one is Norman. Get rid of that slut or I'll kill her. It is signed Mother at the bottom. Mother.
That's some Chucky shit right there.
Get rid of the slut or I'll kill her.
Get rid of that little
Mother.
slut.
And he says to himself, he goes, slut. Slut.
Anthony Perkins is just killing it.
He's so fucking good in this movie, man.
Tubi's all, I mean, just like he has a 4-day bender on and is just harassing the hell out of Mary. And to the
That
point
is
to
gross,
where
man.
Mary tells Tubi that he was a better screw than his fat ass would ever be.
Yeah, she had to drop the fat ass in
His
there.
motherfucker was smiling. His face just dropped as soon as she fucking dropped that nuke on his ass. Hit him like he was
She said,
Hiroshima.
I want a piece of what Norman got last night. Dirty fucking bastard. But yeah, he's gone too soon. He's our first encounter with violence in the movie, I believe, right?
Well, we have the opening, but at the opening's like just literally the shower scene from the original.
Yeah, I guess I did skip over that, but you have to replay that.
That was a
scene
big
back.
deal too. Like I think that was frowned upon by a lot of people.
Getting the footage or
Just
exploiting it,
using it and
just cutting it up. Yeah, it's kind of like sacrilegious to cut it, you know.
If I had just an insane amount of money to waste, I want to make a short film of what Toomey was doing when he left the restaurant to when he shows back up hours later to move out.
oh, he was
Of
drunk
the
as
hotel.
fuck. You know who's the titty ball?
Still drunk.
Probably buying Nutty Bars ice cream, the little pints, going through like 10 of them, trying to get the flavor to kick in, and it never did.
He shows up and he's like, Norman, I'm moving out. And he starts packing his
Yeah,
shit
I'm
like
finally-
midnight.
Yeah. Just pulls up and just starts cussing and acting a damn fool. Dude is not afraid of Norman, too. Isn't that kind of... For someone who seems to believe that Norman is a psycho, he definitely is not afraid of talking shit to him.
Well, I think if you look at Norman Bates, he's such a, I don't know how to, I mean, mean, but he's a tiny man.
Yeah, he's very, very petite. I'd say wiry more than anything. The definition in his arms and things, you know, but he don't have a lot of weight on him.
Anyway, he is 6'1", so I guess maybe his stature.
Oh, he's a
would
big
be-
boy. Like we didn't really talk about it yet. I don't know if we're gonna gloss over to what, but the peephole in his mom's room, that shit's way
Oh,
off the
yeah.
ground.
We coming to it. We'll get there. But yeah, I think even when Toomey goes to the diner, he's even like, square up like a man, bitch. Like he even tries to provoke him on that level. Norman's like, I can't do it. He's getting ready to snap on his ass, and he just stops.
He goes, I'm a pussy.
Because he's looking at the knife, and he looks over at Toomey. He's like, go ahead, fucking pull it.
Can we talk about why there was a damn 14-inch
Just sitting in the
knife
cake
inside of a
knife.
cake?
This is a fucking cake. Just it was Michael Myers' birthday.
Look over,
You
it's a
gotta
fucking.
keep pushing.
If it was Leatherface looking at it, it'd be like a fucking chainsaw.
Well, you got a damn cake knife
He's
in
got
his
smoke coming
restaurant?
out of it. There's smoke coming out of that cake. Mary soon discovers a peephole in the bathroom wall and becomes concerned. Meanwhile, two teenagers sneaking into the basement to smoke pot are attacked by someone in a black dress, killing the boy. When the sheriff investigates, Mary provides Norman an alibi. The plot twists when it's revealed that Mary is Lila's daughter, helping her mother drive Norman insane by impersonating capital M mother and leaving notes. However, Mary begins developing a genuine relationship with Norman.
I'm gonna tell you
I
what.
got a note here. Norman got a show this time, bro.
Oh yeah,
Mary
yeah.
shut the door.
Oh, he finally
Like,
got to see some ass and some titties.
He got a show this time.
I hate to break it to you, it wasn't Meg Tilly.
Okay, there we go.
Guaranteed
Yes.
body double. No way
Who
she
gets
had ass
subscribed to
that
their
nice.
YouTube channel, and all of a sudden he's a damn white knight over here. So that was a body double?
That's a bad number. She did not talk about it on Tea Time, Chris. She's a better woman than that.
You didn't listen to that part when she had the cans on? He's like, Oh, your tits and ass are hanging out. What now, baby?
How did this scene make you feel?
It was actually Anthony Perkins. He was the TNA for... Damn, that dude looked good naked. But yeah, I think Norman finally got a show, man. He didn't get much in the first one. Well, quote-unquote Norman. Still, I got some questions about the who's doing what here in some of these scenes.
This entire time, I didn't think it was Norman.
Yeah, it definitely does a much better job of making you question who's at play here than I thought that it would. Instead of being just straight lined. Jason Voorhees is fucking killing everybody.
When he runs up the stairs and he gets locked inside the attic, I think a child's mindset, if the door is locked, to just sit there and wait. When the kid dies in the basement and he's locked in the attic, I was like, well, that definitely wasn't Norman then.
But by the next time he's approached, he opens twists the knob and the door is unlocked, right?
Right.
Yeah. But again, it's like a debate you always have with if I see a character act a certain way when no one else is around, and I have to believe that that's the truth to that person. Like, he's not putting on the show for anybody. There's no one else in the fucking attic but him, you know?
Yeah.
So either he's really crazy, or he was really locked in there, or he's just deceiving the camera, which doesn't make any sense at that point.
What about this banging in the basement of the Bates house?
I know, dude. I wrote down the Bates basement as a fuck pad. How
Like, nothing
cool of an
gets
idea
a
is
young
that,
woman's
man?
pussy wetter than a dirty,
I know, dude.
cum-covered cot in the Bates
dude
house
rolled it
basement,
out.
dude.
He rolled it out, and you can tell she'd never been there
It's
before.
a fucking
He was like, "Oh yeah, this is
aphrodisiac.
where the cot is."
He knew exactly where it was
He'd
at.
done this before.
I'm gonna tell you what, the sound department is putting in work. I don't know if y'all were paying attention, but that sloppy ass kissing they were doing, you could just hear the.
squishing. They're taking 2 salmon patties and just mushing them together.
That's some SMR shit there.
Dude, you can fucking hear it. It kept going.
I love it. I thought it was such a cool idea, though. Like, this is something teenage kids would do.
Oh yeah,
especially
for
in,
sure.
the
Like,
early
it's one of
80s,
those things of like, let's go to the Michael Myers house and suck and fuck. It's the same thing
That's
for
what I
this,
was
you
doing.
know?
Yeah. I had it. Okay, all right. Maybe I just wasn't horny enough as a teenager, but to drive all because all they
You had
told
internet
Dude,
us,
I remember
access
rubbing
is
my dick
different,
against
man.
a tree.
all they,
You had internet access.
Talking
It's
about
different.
horny. Holy fuck.
all they've told us through Psycho 1 and Psycho 2 is this house is in the middle of fucking nowhere in the desert or
You
somewhere
have
the
to,
hell
like,
it is.
intentionally want to go here to be here.
So yeah, these kids have to drive to the middle of nowhere, go inside a random haunted house's basement just to get it in.
Yeah, you don't remember being that stage where you didn't have anywhere to go? Like, you didn't have the privacy in your own home when you're young?
I mean, I
Just
guess,
anywhere
but
you can do it. You just
not
do
like
it.
a cornfield or a
Cornfield? Is he
dirt
trying to get fucked in the
road or-
ass by a corn?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Somewhere other than a
Trying to
creepy
get
ass house.
Pumpkinhead chasing his ass.
He's trying to get cream corn pied, huh?
Oh,
Dude,
shit.
all right, one last thing on here. I actually got a really funny note right here. It's like a quick little tidbit. All right, he's getting stabbed in the back, right? When he's trying to climb out of the basement by whoever the killer is.
Squeak.
I got this note that says, boyfriend getting some back shots of his own.
Oh, Jesus. Finished
Got
right on the
him.
back, huh?
Got him. That's for you young folk out there
Dirty.
who know what back shots are.
Dirty, dirty.
Young folk.
So what about
you whippersnappers out there. 23 skidoo.
you TikTokers, as they say? So what about Lila marrying Sam? Is that fucking dirty or what?
All right, I need a
Is
recap
that okay?
because I'm confused.
So,
Sam
All right,
Loomis
so
was
Sam-
the guy who was trying to marry Marion, and
Marion.
she like stole the money to support
Marion
him.
died trying to get to Sam.
Yeah.
Like, that was her whole thing. Steal the money, go be with Sam. That was her guy. She died in the process of that.
Missing.
Lila
She went
comes to
missing.
Sam and saying,
Yeah.
"Where's my sister at?" They together figure out the Bates Motel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
fall
after
in
that, they
love.
live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And have a child.
Well, I mean, her sister's dead, and he just wanted to try the other one.
Yeah, okay. Jesus Christ. Sam's a dirty bastard.
That's what
all
he
I'm
did.
saying. That dirty dick dog.
How'd
Was
you
he
guys-
dead by this time?
Well,
Like
they
in
killed
real
his
life?
character off,
The
but
actor,
not
John Gavin. No, he couldn't work on this film because he was the United States ambassador to Mexico, as appointed by Ronald Reagan.
Whoa, he got deep in
He didn't have time. He didn't have time for this.
Yeah, you didn't have
No,
time
sir.
for Psycho 2.
He was battling the cartels in Mexico.
$20,000. I just love his delivery of that line in the first one, man.
How do y'all
I've
feel
seen that shit
about
too many
like
times.
the actual like plot twist here in the halfway point?
It's good, man.
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think
I-
it came out of left field for me. Wasn't expecting it whatsoever.
Right. Especially with the fact, I mean, I kind of got when she said her name was Mary Samuels, I was like, oh, okay. I remember Marion, and like I said, I've seen the first one too many times. When Marion first signs in the hotel, she signs in as Samuels is her last name too.
I think she says, she puts Mary Samuels. I think that's what she actually puts.
I was like, there's got to be some connection here. And then when she turns out to be Lila's daughter, yeah, such a cool ass payoff. What'd you think about her calling her mother over and over in that scene too? I noticed that. She doesn't call her mom or anything. She keeps saying mother, mother, mother. It's like I don't know if it's a regional thing, but that's just not how you talk to your mom, in my experience.
It kind of makes me cringe every time I fucking hear it.
But yeah, Mary, she does that shit on repeat here, just like Norman does.
So we're to believe that Norman gets out of the loony bin, and she knows that Norman is going to work at this random roadside diner, and therefore puts her daughter there, because her daughter looked like she had worked there for a while.
She said she'd been there for a week or so before Norman gets there, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not the best waitress, as we can see.
Yeah, she's pretty
I assume she's kind of new to the job as well.
Oh, she knocks the plates over. That's right.
Yeah. She's like, I broke something every day I've been here. I've broken 7 things in like 3 days. But I thought it was a cool twist. The fact that Lila's like crazy enough to want to go through this, put herself in that position, makes, based on the fact that her character is the one that found Mother in the original.
Yeah, but I don't see it as being crazy. I see it as kind of being driven by a desire for justice.
Yeah, I feel like if anybody would be, though, from the first one, it would be her character, because she was the one who saw she went in the fruit cellar. Like, that was her like the big reveal, that was her who saw Mother's corpse and all that stuff. So.
Pretty wild, though, how she has this honorable intent. However, how she goes about it makes her probably the antagonist of the film.
Yeah, I actively root against her from here forward, which is fucking weird. Because, again, I don't believe Norman's doing a lot of these things right now. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good dramatic irony. I think that's kind of what makes this stand out for me. Dr. Raymond discovers Mary's true identity and informs Norman. When Mary confronts Lila about stopping the scheme, Lila refuses. She goes to the house for one final attempt to break Norman, but she is murdered by someone dressed as a mother. Dr. Raymond follows her inside but finds nothing. Meanwhile, Toomey's body is discovered in the swamp.
Dude, she deep throats the fuck out of that knife.
I know, I got it right here. Lila's
so cool.
head in the fruit cellar. I don't know if you've seen this show on Netflix. My son loves it. He makes me watch it quite often. It's called Is It Cake? Have you seen this?
Oh,
it's like where they have like a steak and they'll cut
He's
it.
Like hyper realistic shit. You have to figure out if it's cake.
He likes watching
exactly
that.
What her head
what does
like.
he fucking
He loves
say?
that shit.
What does he say?
It pisses me off because he'll say, all right, we both have to pick, but he gets to change his fucking guess if he's wrong. I'm like, okay, dude. No, that one's cake. No, that one's cake. I was like, dude, you're copying me now.
To back up the show a little bit, when the boy dies, the sheriff comes to search the house because obviously the boy's girlfriend ran to the police. And they go downstairs. It's the sheriff, Norman, and Mary. And Norman leaves for reasons I don't remember, but it's been cleaned up. And the sheriff looks at Mary and goes, do you know what was down here? And just flatline says, Norman used to keep his mother's dead corpse down here. Did you know that? It's like, God almighty. You don't want to...
Oh, shit. She was like, I was cleaning this motherfucker up a week ago. Yeah, so she gives him the alibi. I kind of mentioned that in passing. Like, she's covering up a lot of things. And like you were saying, like, if he killed the person in the basement, but she admits to cleaning up this basement, like, a lot of it just doesn't add up as far as Norman is obviously guilty of all these things, you know.
Yeah, Lila's just literally driven to put his ass back behind bars. So she's going to do whatever she can to see Norman as evil and to see him as the perpetrator of whatever's happening with these murders and disappearances. Well, while Mary is actively involved with him and sees that, hey, he can't be the one responsible for all this. Like, I locked him in the attic. How the fuck could he be down here murdering somebody?
Question. But I did like the like I said, the head looking like a piece of cake with the knife just going right through it. That was a pretty cool death scene. Probably the coolest one you've seen in the franchise to this point. You agree?
100%.
Outside of the shower scene.
Right.
The shower scene is kind of one of a kind.
The shower's not gory, though.
It's not.
Yeah, but it's iconic.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is a
It's
knife
the
to
first of
dome.
its kind. Gore. Let's say this is the first or the most interesting gore we've seen in the franchise. And the
Would you-
bloody toilet. That was a really cool effect. Did you guys catch that?
Oh yeah.
The blood just
I
flowing out of the
enjoyed the fuck out
toilet.
I don't want
I
to
thought
be.
she had flushed tampons or something. Honestly, when I see it happen.
I don't want to be the resident plumber of the show, but that
Oh
toilet
God!
was straight piped. It didn't have a tank on the back of it, and I had never seen that before.
You talking
What
about
the
the one
hell
where you
does
got
that
the little
even
thing
mean?
you got to pull down?
So you're saying there's like a chute, like your shit goes straight to the basement when you take
like,
it?
where the water comes in,
Like a rocket.
a pipe connected to the toilet, and then obviously it goes out the other end, the bottom, like a normal toilet would. So like there's no water tank holding. I don't know. I was fascinated by that toilet. Sorry.
It was a multiple story house. Maybe like the tank is on the floor above. I don't know. I don't know jack shit about 3-story houses.
Yeah, but how do you
Anybody with
like do
plumbing,
an upper deck
please
if
write
that's
us.
the case?
Yeah, what if you want to turn around and read a magazine? Like, clearly that's what the tank is even made for, right?
Well, I mean, you couldn't read a one there.
I think that's
Just
part of
open
the
your book
torture
right there
that
on the
his
tank.
mom like put him through.
Turn
Like you'll
around.
never be able to have a tank for your toilet, Norman.
You never sat
Norman.
backwards on the toilet?
I have never in my life sat backwards on a toilet.
Get you a dirty magazine, turn around on the toilet.
That's how you eat
Tell
a
me
bowl
it's
of
not
cereal.
those-
You eat a bowl of cereal while you're taking shit.
Who the fuck is reading dirty magazines backwards on a toilet?
Wait, who
While
is
they're
doing?
eating
Hold on,
cereal.
who is doing that?
While they're eating
But
cereal.
what am I doing? Pushing my dick against the lid and fucking rubbing it against the lid?
Y'all have different
shit.
challenges
Oh, I'm
than
about
me,
to
fellas.
fucking bust. I need something to push again.
Get a little Maxim magazine, just flip to the centerfold. Don't act like y'all know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly
Anywho,
what you're talking about.
I
You say
remember,
Maxim magazine, I have an image in my mind exactly of who I'm thinking of.
I have
there it
Topanga
is.
in my mind for Max.
Kate up.
Topanga. Yeah, Rebecca Romaine's Stamos for me. Damn, that's weird. We all got different places to be.
Different places
She
to
was
be on the
sucking on
back of
that. She
toilet.
was sucking on that bomb pop. I can't even look at bomb. I can't walk down the ice cream aisle in a grocery store and see a bomb pot and not get fucking erect
The bomb pop?
because of the Kate Upton photo shoot for like July.
The red, white, and blue
Yes.
ice cream?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was called
Dirty
Rocket
boy.
Pops.
Look up. Is it that was called bomb pops? Look up Kate Upton rocket pops.
There's some in
You'll
our
see
freezer right
exactly
now.
what
I can look. I think it's called bomb pops.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're draining the swamp here. There's another vehicle located in there. When we assume Toomey's body is in the trunk, but we never get to see that. I don't believe, right?
We get to see
yes.
his body like wrapped up in a sheet.
We get
And then they say,
everybody's
"Oh my
like,
god, he
"Hey,
stinks!
fucking
He smells like
stinks.
shit! Oh fuck!"
This dude smells like fucking alcohol."
Yeah, that's the problem. Now that he's been in a swamp for multiple days. And
Yeah,
he's
that's
dead.
true too. I did like the clarification here that this is a swamp. I feel like they said it 8 times. It's like everybody had that question from the first one. Like, is this tar pits or what are we sinking into here? They're like, it's the swamp, the swamp, the swamp, the swamp.
Question how that's a swamp, but
Always thought it was a tar pit in the original
because
because the way the car sinks.
I mean, I'm thinking
Swamps aren't
California. I'm thinking the movie Volcano. I'm thinking Tar Pit.
It's in black and white.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Last Action Hero as well.
Damn, why do we remember this dumb shit? Anyway, moving on. Mary returns to warn Norman about the police, but he's speaking to Mother on the phone, despite there being no one on the line. Terrified, Mary dresses as Mother to confront Norman, but accidentally ends up killing Dr. Raymond in the process. In the ensuing struggle, Norman is repeatedly stabbed by Mary before she discovers Lila's body. The police arrive and shoot Mary dead. I love the Raymond kill, dude.
Dude, Mary
It's such a
fucking
subversion.
Mary panic knife Call of Duty style. Mary stabbed fucking Dr. Raymond with the Call of Duty panic knife. Dude, and then it has the shit I always want to see in horror movies. Like when someone
Landing
actually
on it.
falls onto the knife after being
On the
stabbed.
handle. Yeah.
Fuck me, I love that. Oh my god.
That was a good shot.
I like that they did it at the top of the staircase, so you kind of get like, oh, they're going to do the Armageddon thing. Like, he's going to go rolling down the stairs. I'm going to get the cool dolly shot or whatever. But no, it totally subverts that. Goes flying over the fucking banister, knife stab further into his chest. It was great.
Watching that, you kind of know how the house is structured. And I realized, like, that can't be Norman because Norman's downstairs. So who the hell is it? And I completely forgot about Dr. Raymond.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of gets, once he starts investigating, like, what the hell has Norman really been up to? You kind of lose track of him until we don't lose track of it. What did you guys think about Mary stabbing his ass? I thought she was going a little crazy there.
I think she was.
She hit him like 8 times with like these gentle little stabs.
Well, I mean, she's
Well,
dressed up as an
I think it
old
was
woman.
that was kind of like self-preservation, like at that point,
Think
because
you
she can
think she
see
knew
him.
at
She
that
can see
point?
his psyche fracturing. I mean, she's kind of the direct cause of it, aside from her mom.
She's dressing up as his fucking mom. Like, what? This is the ultimate trigger. This is the one thing you don't
she's
do
trying
around
to
this
she's
guy.
trying to bring him back to reality.
That's not the way to do it, though, right?
Yeah, but
This
when
is
he's
the one
sitting
thing you
there
shouldn't
talking
do.
to his mom on the phone, and he's like, "You can't make me kill her."
I love
talking
that
to
when he does, like, the
some
little over the shoulder.
Disembodied voice that no one else can hear other than him. Like, she has to do what she can to bring herself back, or
He sells it,
bring
though,
him
man.
back to reality.
You say he's not talking to anybody, but we will soon find out.
Still a lot of unsettled questions here. But yeah, she kind of gets, reminds me of the end of Get Out, where we kind of expected. Like, once Chris kind of gets through killing all these white people, the cops roll up and they're just going to gun him down. She kind of gets like that treatment. How often does a white lady just get gunned down at a crime scene,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was shocked when they came down the stairs and she was holding a knife and just like, I was like, holy shit.
Blew
Okay.
her ass away. Yeah. 90s LAPD on her ass.
No
What
questions
was his
asked.
name? NYPD dude came back and just fucking blew her away.
To back up a little bit, the night before, they were, for sure they saw mommy running around, mother somewhere. Norma was freaked out and stays in Mary's room. That scene where Mary's holding him and he's talking about the childhood memories of this fucking toasted cheese bread.
Toasted cheese. The smell of that toasted cheese, baby.
And it's like, man, this is actually really good acting.
Yeah, it makes me want to toast. I don't know what the hell it's. I still to this day don't know what a toasted cheese sandwich is, but I want one.
It's childhood.
The sheriff concludes that Mary was responsible for all the murders. Norman returns home alone until Emma Spool visits and reveals she is his real mother and Norma's sister, confessing to the murders. Norman poisons her tea and kills her with a coal shovel. He carries her body to Mother's room, where Mother's voice warns him about filthy gals.
Mm.
The film ends with Norman, now murderous again, reopening the Bates Motel. Love the shot of Bates Motel, vacancy, chef's kiss.
Dude, when he fucking bonks her in the head with that shovel,
That
fucking
was
Looney
my
Tunes
shit,
style,
bro.
man,
I
that
rewound
shit
it.
was so fucking funny. I had to watch it
He
like 3 or 4
fucking
times.
bop.
And then
He
the
went
camera
bop.
shot of it like panning upwards and like the overhead. Like, this
Yeah,
movie
that's
has
the
such good
homage.
camera work. Like, and this is, for me, one of the best shots in the entire movie. And then watching him carry the corpse back upstairs, now he's got his mom's corpse again. So
He
can
looks
continue
strong as
the
hell,
battle.
dude, carrying her.
It's clearly a dummy. I hate to break it to you.
She was
It
kind of
is.
she was chunky though. I mean, so him being able to do that, like, even if it insinuates he's carrying her, he's
And when he leaned down to pick her up, I was like, damn, I don't know if Tony's got it in him.
Come on, do it,
like
buddy.
this
Come
lady.
on.
I just wanted to see him do it. But even like the illusion of him doing it, I was like, God, he's so fucking swole. But then again, get this, like you're always saying, the circular, like we're back to him carrying his mother. Dude, I was like, this is such a fucking great way to end this movie, dude.
I like how he opens the cupboard and there's that whole package of Louisiana. He pulls it to the side and just grabs that old can of tea.
Oh, there's that can of kill your mom poison. Even says on there for killing moms. Oh shit, mom poison.
And I guess she
I think-
was his real mother, born out of wedlock in a psycho ward. It's like it's the Freddy Krueger story.
Yeah, like she had issues. She was teenage pregnancy. Norma was better fit to be a mother.
well. It said
so
also
took
she had
Norma.
mental issues. So like she
served some time
He
in
inherits that
institute.
from her, I guess.
I think Norma needs a damn security system. This is like the 10th person that just walks up in his motherfucking house. He needs a dog or something. I feel bad for the guy. And I love, like you said, with the shovel. He's like, you know what? All this exposition's going down. Norman's just like, fuck it. He just shovel.
Maybe that's why she quit acting, because she got whacked in the back of the head by Norman.
That's what I said. This shit looked real. I don't know how they shot it, but it looked like she took one to the dome. All right, fellas, you got anything else you want to touch on before we say goodbye and see you again next time to Mr. Bates? There will be a next time.
There's this weird scene here at the end where Norman has his hands wrapped up after all the stab wounds and stuff, right?
Or when he's tossing the coal in the fire.
And then it shows his hands like bleeding from the actual palms.
Yeah.
Is this like some fucking? Is this like showing Norman as Jesus or something? What is this?
Something biblical. Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
I thought it was because he got those wounds from grabbing the knife.
Yeah,
when
it's the
Mary's trying to
defensive.
stab
They're
him, right?
defensive wounds, but it makes it a point to show, hey, his palms are bleeding like right in the middle where it would be for the crucifixion.
Yeah, it definitely highlights it for a reason. There's probably some deeper meaning that it's not.
Yeah, I'm
jumping
too
to
fucking
mind,
stupid to realize what it is.
No, I'm just saying it's not jumping to my mind either. But maybe it's the first time he's been attacked in a way. maybe for a minute he's like not going to be crazy anymore.
Split second.
Like he's resigned to just like live out his life alone until, fuck it. Here comes mom. All right, boys. I hate to do it, but we got to say goodbye to Mr. Norman Bates. Moving on, what piece of memorabilia are you taking home from Psycho 2 from 1983, Joseph?
I'm gonna do something kind of lame, but I'm gonna double dip and I'm gonna hit him with the back-to-back. Give me that Norma Bates exhumed corpse and its Cheshire cat smile. I say that because I picked the corpse from the first movie as well.
Double corpse?
This is like from the first movie I was talking about how it looked very jerky-like, right? So we're gonna say I've been snacking on this first corpse, so it's almost gone. But the second corpse looks a lot fresher. For some reason, even though it's been in the grave for 20 years. This would be the one I'd socialize with, This would be the one I would talk to and would like give me helpful motherly advice and such.
Ain't that nice?
Yeah.
Salty, I like it. What about you, Hootie?
So there were multiple shots in this film where I think it was downstairs near the stairway where there's this gorgeous stained glass window and it's got like doves on it and stuff. It's gorgeous. I want that stained glass window.
Just going to preserve it the way it is?
Just cut it out
in your living room?
Put it in my house. Just have it in my office looking at it,
A little bit of sunlight coming through. Man. Every day at like 2:13 p.m. You just get a little smile on your face.
Psycho 2. Norman.
Thinking about an 80-year-old woman's corpse in your basement.
Thinking about toasted cheese sandwiches.
Toasted cheese. I can smell the toasted cheese sandwich. I'm going to keep it simple. Something about that last scene just really stuck with me, man. I want that cold shovel. Because I want some brain flakes on the backside of it where he just domed old Emma Spool. Give me that cold shovel.
Sure you don't want a sandwich? Which says, what? He fucking pops her ass.
Not only did he give her the poison tea, he also had to hit her in the head with a shovel. He
had a double kill. Hit her with the fucking Bugs Bunny.
He's going to talk to her till like 3 a.m. and she's slowly going to nod off. Nope. He said, all right, this exposition is going on too long. We're going to put an end to it. Great. All right, professors, grade books out. Time to hand out letter grades here. Mr. Joseph, what did you think about Psycho 2 from Mr. Richard Franklin?
I was pleasantly surprised by the follow-up to Hitchcock's genre-defining original. I really enjoyed delving into the psychological torment of Norman Bates and really piecing together what makes the psycho the psycho. Anthony Perkins is back and doesn't miss a beat after 20 years of not portraying Norman Bates. He has this incredible ability to go from terrorizing and menacing to creating a genuine sympathy felt by the audience, and it's felt here in a very powerful way. There's interesting and fascinating use of camera angles, especially the overhead shot of the Miss Spool scene, as well as the downward views from the Bates home roof, like when the kids are sneaking into the basement. Really enjoyed the cinematography there. The film is well executed, or the film is executed well enough that it could stand on its own as an entirely separate entity from the Psycho franchise. The creative and unique concept of the movie, like the overall plot, it meshes well with the original, expanding on its premise without taking away from its legacy. But I do feel like the Miss Spool storyline wasn't implemented very well and felt kind of slapped on for the more brain-dead audience's sake, like the psychiatric final scene from the original. I'd have enjoyed a more ambitious ending myself, where we're still left to question if Norman's psyche was entirely fractured or not. But I guess the fact that he kills the second mother he's ever known shows us where he is mentally. And don't let the fact that I'm not a fan of the ending take away from the awesome kill of Spool. I still think the execution of that scene is top tier. Also, it's kind of hard for me to believe Norman is so easily accepted back into society, even after a 20-year sentence in the mental hospital. But once the story begins to unfold, that shaky thread takes a back seat in what is a truly solid sequel. Honestly, I can see horror fans regarding this as one of the best horror sequels of all time, possibly. 1983 Psycho 2 grades out with a B.
Psycho 2 was a blind spot for me, as are all of the sequels to the golden age of horror classic. I sat down with a low expectation, although the trailer did a really good job of hooking you for the viewing. I still had reservations. I'm happy to say that I'm pleasantly surprised at the depth of this film with bringing back characters from a film over 20 years old. Anthony Perkins looks to be in great shape for his return to the franchise. The acting and directing are actually very, very good as well, keeping you engaged throughout the film. However, I truly believe that the film could have ended without the twist at the end with Mrs. Spool, or it did it in a different way, because it just came off as tossed in my opinion. This scene to me seemed forced into the film in order to create a multi-picture franchise to bleed this story dry, which knowing what I know now kind of helps me with that opinion. I was going to give this film a solid B, but the last 10 minutes makes me change my score. And with that, I give Psycho 2 a B-.
B-, okay. Let me take the floor here. This was my choice for us guys to watch. So, saying that, I am glad that I did. Psycho 2 is a surprisingly solid sequel that had no business being this good. Coming 23 years after Hitchcock's masterpiece, Mr. Perkins slips back into Norman Bates' deeply troubled shoes like he never left. The film smartly plays with our expectations. Is Norman really cured? Are the new murders his doing, or is someone messing with his fragile mind? While it can't match the original groundbreaking shock value, it delivers genuine suspense and some clever twists. Meg Tilly brings a fresh dynamic as Mary, and the way the movie explores Norman's attempt at redemption adds unexpected emotional depth. There is some 80s cheese moments here for sure, but director Richard Franklin clearly studied at the Hitchcock School of Suspense, and he gets my vote for having done a good job here. This one is a solid B+, way better than most decades later sequels have any right to be. I appreciate the work here, Mr. Richard Franklin. All right, with that being said, let's talk about the Rotten Tomatoes audience score guesses for this here film. If you're new to the show, we try to guess the Rotten Tomatoes audience score. If we're within 5 points, we choose what's next. Otherwise, we watch a random horror movie. Since this was my choice, I did not participate in the game. So between yous two's losers, Joseph, guess this would be a 35%
Fuck
tisk.
I forgot I fucking did that.
Hootie. Not much better. I said 45%.
Oh,
tisk,
shit.
tisk.
It was a blind spot.
You boys had so much.
Oh, it was a fucking blind spot. It was a damn Helen Keller spot. I couldn't see shit.
And something I was so excited about. You both tried to shit on it, and I'm happily here to inform you the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes for Psycho 2 is a 62%, and you can both kiss Norman Bates' ass.
Honestly, it should be higher.
I dropped the ball on that one.
Should be higher. Yeah, I'd say 70 is probably more like it. So we will be watching a random film, but before that, we got a little bit of yearly homework to take care of. It is springtime yet again in the Northern Hemisphere.
Spring is sprung.
And with a lovely green holiday on the horizon known as St. Patrick's Day, our next film covered will be the fourth entry in the Leprechaun franchise, Leprechaun 4 in Space from 1996.
Hell yeah.
Wait, will it be that?
We're at Leprechaun 4, baby.
I thought What's Called was like in the middle of March.
Yes, this episode here is going to release the end of February.
That's
Next
right,
one after that will
28
be
fucking
mid-March.
days.
It's a short month, bro. Yeah, we're going to space with Leprechaun for our next entry here, boys. So let's pull up that trailer on YouTube and check it out.
Event Horizon can kick rocks. Lep's coming back, baby.
All right, folks, we're going to hop on YouTube, check out the trailer for Leprechaun 4 in Space. If you want to watch along with us, you can do so on our YouTube channel. Otherwise, we will be back here in a few short moments. Oh, that shit looked dope, bro.
I felt like he was watching a Beethoven sequel. Like the way the fucking music was playing.
Happy St. Patrick's
Man,
Day, boys.
that's gonna be so fun to watch.
It even had like
So we got nothing.
It had the banana peel like.
Yeah, those graphics blew my mind, dude. I felt like I was playing Star Fox again. All right, boys, we got nothing at stake here since this is was one of our yearly assignments. This is mandatory, but just for the hell of it, what do you think that bad boy sits on Rotten Tomatoes?
Dude, this shit is like gonna be
The
like
audience.
a 25. It's gonna be even worse than Psycho 2.
Well, I hope
I think
so.
that might be setting the bar high, bro. I'm gonna say a 15, man.
I was going to say a 10.
Nah, that movie's
Shit.
too funny to be that fucking low.
Is it funny though?
Way
We don't know,
too
man.
funny.
I mean, the trailer, I think, was trying to make it seem like it was funny. I don't know.
He's a leprechaun in space. Pretty fucking wacky.
How did they sign on? Like, how did Joanna Man and Heidi sign on to that film?
It had to be a straight to VOD one or DVD or shit.
Based on the Star
VHS, I
Fox
guess.
graphics, has to be.
Cheap boy. What was your audience guess, Eddie?
I'm going with a 10.
Sitting on a 10. All right, fair enough. Quick perusal of the internet. Looks like you can stream this movie on Amazon Prime Video, boys. Crack up that Amazon Prime subscription. You can watch it there for free. Or rent or buy, wherever you choose to do those things.
It'd be
All
nice
that said-
seeing Warwick Davis again.
Yeah, it's all about hanging out
Always
with
fun
Warwick at this
to
point.
pay Warwick a visit.
Till we get to Hornswoggle, and then you're going to hate it. Alrighty, folks, thank you for listening. Check out horriblefilmschool.com. You'll find links to our episodes, social channels, and the merch store. As always, you can support us for free in 3 simple ways. Rate, review, and subscribe. And remember, we got the 100th episode coming up, so send any suggestions you got into horriblefilmschool@gmail.com if you want to be heard. That's the way to do it. If you're feeling generous, send us some, what else? Toasted cheese sandwiches. I am personally going to send my support to women stalking recently released serial killers.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, spread the love, spread the campaign that is the Horrible Film School. And I get to go back to space for the 3rd time in the past couple episodes here, and with Leprechaun. And this looks pretty bad, so I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time when we taste the extraterrestrial rainbow with Leprechaun 4 in space. Class dismissed.